Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the High Ticket Coaching and Consultant Strategy and Growth Show. Now, if you're watching this interview anywhere else but within our private Facebook community called High Ticket Client Attraction Insider Circle, then definitely come check us out. We'd definitely love to have you. And that community was put together specifically for coaches, consultants, and service providers who are serious about getting up to that 6 and that 7-figure level. So if that's you, definitely come check us out. Now, today I want to introduce you to another one of the members of our community, Vincent. Welcome, Vincent.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me on here.
Awesome. It's a pleasure. So, Vincent, tell the rest of the community members, what is it that you do?
So I am a leadership coach. I spent 20 years in the Army, and I saw a lot of different leadership styles, a lot of different ways leaders present themselves, and some good, some bad. And so I've taken a lot of those lessons learned over those 20 years and applied it to a coaching business that really aims to help young leaders grow and be able to build high-performing teams.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Good stuff. Good stuff. So I guess the question becomes, so you said you spent 20 years in the U.S. Army, right?
Yes.
So what led to the natural progression of getting into coaching?
The last portion of my career I spent in Fort Irwin, and that's basically a training center. So it's all about helping teams depending on what your job is. And so working with leaders that were in my specific career field and just seeing the different ways that I was able to help them grow during those periods of time that I was able to train with them. It got me thinking when I retired, I could probably turn this into a business and share a lot of these lessons learned with younger leaders, regardless of what they do. So.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Okay. So what about, you said in terms of a niche wise, are you focused specifically on a certain type of individuals, or is it just, is it pretty open?
It's pretty open. Anybody leading a team or about to lead a team is who I'm looking to work with.
Mm-hmm.
I like to take them through a progression of really learning about themselves and then really being able to pull the best out of the individual team members that they have, and then looking collectively at the culture that they're creating within their teams.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good. Now, how do you define a culture?
Looking at the fundamentals that the team has, really that's about how the team operates, how they interact with each other, how they interact with people outside of the team, whoever they have contact with, whether it's customers or other people in the company or however that looks. Basically, what is it that they can expect from, what is it people can expect from them when they interact, and what they expect of each other. So showing up fully as your authentic self is a big one, and that has to be a main emphasis on there. And so it just builds confidence when everybody can know each other and know what the capabilities are and what you're bringing to the table.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good stuff. So ultimately, you said one of the key principles, the key things you mentioned is as far as an individual being on a team is showing up as your true self, your authentic self. Are there any more key principles you realize or you believe that as individuals on teams perform, that maybe key traits they should bring into the culture as well too?
Yeah, one of the big things that I like to look at when looking at culture is fundamentals or those kind of boundaries or behaviors of the team. So blameless problem solving, for example. Something happens, it doesn't quite go right, whatever the thing is, there isn't blame put on, it's used as a learning opportunity. So everybody in there can grow and learn. So that it's a lot about fundamentals. And if you're showing up as your authentic self and working within those fundamentals that are set by the team, then you can really perform at your peak best.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good stuff. And in your own role as you work with your clients as well too, are you working with both the leaders, or are you working more with the teams, or is it kind of like a combination of both of them?
Uh, Mainly, I focus on working with the leaders. I want them to be able to discover really who they are as a leader. I want them to get in the right mindset, especially getting out of imposter mindset, which is what I saw a lot with leaders over the years, even leaders I've worked with outside of the Army since I retired. And then really focusing in on how they communicate, uh, and so they can understand when they're communicating with somebody, this is what is being encountered. And
Mhm.
so different people react different ways. And so they have to understand their communication style and
Mhm.
other communication styles. And then also working with conflict resolution. So understanding how that fits into everything else, because there's going to be conflict somewhere uh, in your time as a leader. And then from there, moving into focusing on how the leader relates to individual team members. How do they pull the best out of them and create really powerful people that are going to be future leaders? And what it is they need to do to serve those team members and the team as a whole. And also practicing feedback. So what does that? What does feedback look like in terms of relating to your individual team members? And then from there, it's moving on to building the team culture as a whole. So it moves from the leader focus, then focusing on the leader interacting with individual team members, and then to the collective team and how that fits together.
Yeah. Okay. Good stuff. So something you mentioned earlier was you saw a lot of the like kind of like imposter type of traits or something like that. I guess how do you what does that typically
Mm-hmm.
look like? How does that manifest?
It looks a lot like um, insecurity.
Hmm.
So a leader can come in and he can know his job, his technical job, he can be an expert at and be very proficient at. What I saw in a lot of young leaders was they didn't have the confidence and they didn't feel empowered enough to actually lead the team, to actually take that team and build it up and make something great. And so there was a lot of insecurity. They would feel threatened if they did create powerful people that they might be in fear of losing their job. And so that can come out and manifest in different ways, in fear, in anger, or even pulling back and being somewhat distant. So I
Hmm.
want to make sure that leaders are confident, that leaders expect success, and that they feel empowered to get in there and lead.
Yeah, awesome stuff. So if you had to take all your experience, right? So 20 years in the US Army, and all the things you've been
Mhm.
through, and you had to combine, condense all this wisdom into maybe a few traits, a few key principles, maybe two or three. What would those key principles be?
The key thing was be to know yourself, to know your identity and who you are, uh, and then live fully out of that. If you can do that, you're going to have success because there's an authenticity there that people will resonate with and that they'll be drawn to. And leadership isn't just about telling people what to do and delegating tasks and those type of things. That's just kind of managing. Leading, you're inspiring people, and when you show up authentically, you're going to inspire them to greatness.
Hmm. Yeah. What do you think prevents most individuals, a lot of individuals from showing up authentically?
I think it's fear. I think people get fearful and they feel insecure or even anxious that they're going to make a mistake, and they don't understand that mistakes are just stepping stones to the next success. Uh, so that's the biggest thing that I see that keeps people from showing up authentically is that fear of failing.
Yeah, and that is so true, right? So as you go on your own journey, as everyone goes on their own journey, especially if you're not into personal development, personal growth, or bettering yourself, it's almost like we're in this mode of
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna do anything. I'm not gonna do anything unless I there's 100% chance that I'll succeed, and if there's a
Mm-hmm.
slight chance I might fail, I won't even do it, right? So that's just
Right.
it's so fascinating to me just to see how there's a lot of us. I know even on my own journey as well too. There was a point in my life where failure was just like the ultimate like thing to where it was so fearful that I was just immobilized, didn't take any action up until the point I realized
Hmm.
life is one of those places where it's progressing, which is hey, you can do it over, you can get better, you can improve, and the whole goal is to fail faster, right? So you can get that success, learn what you
Hmm.
need to learn to move on, right?
Yes, and I'm always telling people you gotta, if you're gonna fail, fail forward.
Hmm.
So learn from it, grow, and get better. And don't let obstacles stop you. Those are just challenges for you to grow and get better as a leader.
Yeah, good stuff, good stuff. What about mentors? Do you have any mentors that you that's really inspired you on your own journey?
Yes, I've had a few, and one of them I I was able to work underneath when I first started my Army career, and he has been somebody I have looked at as a model of great leadership, leading from the front, never asking us to do anything that he hasn't already done or wouldn't do himself. So it's really been somebody that I could lean into, contact even after moving on, uh, to get advice from.
Yeah,
Yes,
awesome.
I've had a couple like that. I've been very blessed. I was very blessed throughout my career to work for some pretty good individuals.
Hmm. Okay, good stuff. Now, what about working with you, right? So, how does a typical client engagement look when someone's working with you?
Yes, so typical engagement is through this medium here, through Zoom. I don't want to have to do face to face because that limits who I have access to be able to work with. So it's 30 to 60-minute Zoom calls once every week, and that's over a 12-week period. The program that I run is 12 weeks long.
Hmm.
And
Awesome.
then there is also email interactions, and depending on the level that they choose to work at, there's also some other interactions as well, daily through either email or text.
Yeah, good stuff, good stuff. And I guess with your own journey in the army, spending 20 years, because I know a lot of individuals join the service, they might spend maybe 4 years, maybe 6 years, 8 years or
Mhm.
something, and then they get out. But you did a full 20. By the way, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
So I guess what did you say? What are a few of the core skills, principles you've really you took out that's really helped you take and really succeed in this next chapter of your journey here?
One thing I learned right off is leaders leading from the front, making sure that you are doing those things that you're asking other people to do. You've either done it or you're willing to do it. And the second thing, and even more importantly, what took me some time to learn is leading is more about relationships than focusing on results. The results will come when you are leading and you're in good relationship with your people. You know who they are, they know who you are. When you're authentic, again, it goes back to authenticity. If you're there authentically as yourself and you're living fully out of that, then the results come, success comes. It just naturally follows that. And so that is the biggest thing is leadership is more about relationship and the results will come. So that's the focus.
Yeah, and relationships are so powerful. It's almost like it's like the secret, almost like weapon, I guess you could say. Because I know on my
Hmm.
own journey, for me, I'm more in the coaching consultant type of realm where a lot of my business is online. And when it comes to online, there's a lot of systems, processes you need. And I know I spend so much of my time focused on processes, systems, all these different things. And then I'm like, I felt stuck. I couldn't figure out like I've mastered all of this, the tools. Like why aren't things moving faster? But it wasn't until I figured out like relationships, which is people, which is getting to know them, networking, and doing all these different things, did success really almost like take off. So I love what you said about as far as with leadership, it's more based on not the to do's and doing, it's more based on the people, right?
Yes, absolutely. That sums it up great.
Good stuff, good stuff. So what's that vision for you? What are you currently building towards at the moment?
Really, the dream for me is having a legacy of leaders who really understand who they are, and that they are empowering people and creating powerful people that will be future leaders.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest thing for me is I want to see this continue. I don't want it to just kind of die off and lose momentum. That's what I want to see. So I'm always looking to grow a team. Uh, Legacy is the biggest thing that I focus on, is what am I leaving behind when I interact with a client or with my family or friends. What is it I'm leaving behind? What are they experiencing and encountering when I'm around?
Mm-hmm. Awesome. What, and your clients as well, so are they local to your area, or are they like more of a global type of all over the world?
Right now, just around the U.S. Not, I don't have any clients outside of the U.S. right now.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but are you open to working with clients outside of the US, or is it
Oh
um,
yes, definitely.
okay?
Just have to figure out the time difference, but I'm open to working with leaders anywhere they are.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good stuff, Vincent. And I guess the question now becomes, if someone was listening to this message right now and they were to say, man, what Vincent just shared with us there, we love his vision, we love what he's about, what would be the best way for that person to connect?
Through my website, vincentream.com. Right on the website there is tells all about the program that I do right there on the homepage, and there's buttons to book a strategy call to figure out if it's the right fit for them.
Hmm. Okay, good stuff. And guys, if you're watching this interview, whether it's on the live, excuse me, or the replay, or the links Vincent just mentioned here, they will either be right above or below this video, so you can click and get connected right to him. Well, Vincent, hey man, thank you so much for making the time to be here and share what it is that you do and what you're up to with the community. Do you have any final thoughts before we end?
No, thank you for this opportunity. I really appreciate you inviting me on here. Thank you.
Awesome, love it. Well, thanks again, and we'll talk soon.
All right, thank you.